Okay, let's look back at that screen that we had before with the modules, and let's look at the homework. Somebody had a question which I think was very valid in terms of those of you who are doing homework assignments from TRO. Notice that it all depends on which edition you have. So make sure you know which edition you have so you download the correct homework set. Let's say you have the 5th edition, or let's say you have the 4th edition. All right, let's preview it. I'm going to preview it here. And let's wait for it to load. Like I said before, this is what happens sometimes. The internet gets a little slow. Okay, so please don't worry about the colors here. Basically, what it tells you is the homeworks are lined up with different chapters in the textbook, but because the chapters don't match our unit numbers, I just basically call them homeworks, 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever. So for example, for homework 1, if you had the 4th edition of TRO, the topic of kinetics, which is our first topic this semester, is chapter 14, and you are responsible for the problems that are listed in there. Don't worry about them being black or red. Don't worry about it. It's just that was just a way of distinguishing between the 3rd and 4th edition, but I'm assuming that nobody has the 3rd edition anymore, so I didn't count on that one. Okay, some of the stuff here in the instructions refer really to when you were turning in homework handwritten. So just make sure that you are aware of the 2nd page that there are some, I don't know, some kind of guidelines, some expectations as to the way you present things. Okay, so this, yes, this is handwritten, but one of the things that we have to learn as scientists is we need to communicate information in a way that is accessible to anybody who is reading our work. Okay, don't assume that because I know or because you think that I know what you're writing, anybody else would. So, be neat, be organized. You don't have to have great handwriting skills. I don't, but at least make it clear what question you're answering and what your reasoning is and what were the calculations you made to arrive at that answer. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's do this. Let's change over here back to our, I wanted to show you, well, let me do this. Let's look at the actual, oh, I wasn't the right page. Sorry about that. Let's go back here. Let's go back here to our home page. And one of the important things in this class is the syllabus, which you can access from this link on the home page or this link here on the left on the course navigation bar. And because of requirements that the school has placed for remote instruction, I had to write a very long syllabus here. So there's a lot of stuff in here. I just want to go over a few key things in here, okay? And so what I'm going to do actually is I am going to take us to the actual document file for the syllabus, which is somewhere in here. Oh, sorry, I don't have it. Let me open on that before I can go there. Just give me a few moments. Okay. All right. So let's do here a new share. And we are going to go to the syllabus. All right. So this is a downloaded version of the syllabus. And if you guys want to have this, just let me know and I'll just post the file so you can download it if you want to make notes on it or something. The first part here tells you some information about myself. Here at LBCC, we typically call office hours, we call them student hours. It's really the focus is on you. I needed to put something in here because of the requisites, but due to personal reasons, I need to revise these ideas. So by next week, we will begin having, my student office times, and I will post an announcement later to see when those are going to be, okay? They will be via Zoom, and probably what I'll do is I'll set it up as a repetitive meeting, so there'll be only one time password access, and you'll have to use the same link every time. And this will be an opportunity for you to meet with me one-on-one in case you have any specific questions, not only about class, but about, everything, life, the cosmos, the environment, whatever you want to talk about. All right, let me squeeze down, scoot down here. When do we meet? Believe it or not, I think some students are still not understanding that classes delivered online are asynchronous. Now, you may have some professors who are having you meet on specific days and times live. Here in the physical science department, we're trying to avoid that. So all of the course material is delivered in what's called an asynchronous format. That means you don't have to be logged in at a specific day and time to go over the topics, okay? You are on your own. You have to plan out your schedule. I'm going to help you with that. The only times that we will be required to log in at specific days and times is when we have exams, and that's at the end of the syllabus, all right? Again, please make sure you read through the whole syllabus. I'm only highlighting a few things, and that's because in the interest of time, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but it is important that you go through every little line on this syllabus. Just think about it as a contract. Think about this as this is what essentially defines the rules of the class, okay? So here's some things you need. I already mentioned about the textbook options you have, either Tro or Top Hat. And then over here, how the course works, little navigation, I already talked to you about that. Participation / attendance. There is no attendance, obviously, because we don't have any mandatory meetings, but I still judge, or let's say grade you on the basis of participation, like it says here, by your diligence in turning in assignments in a timely and complete manner. Now, you do have a little bit of a leeway. I do give you a chance to turn assignments in late with a deduction. But again, if you miss more than 3 assignments in a row without an excuse, you may be dropped for non-participation. So this week, we have several assignments, several activities you're going to be carrying out. By the end of the week, my view is if you have not completed those assignments, I will have to drop you from the course. I have over 40 students on wait list trying to get into this class. So, it's not like we're going to be empty here. So please make sure you're on top of things. Please be mindful of assignment deadlines. Yes, you have your own time to do these things, but there are deadlines, there are due dates, all right? And anything you submit late, the system might accept it, but when graded, it'll be assessed a deduction. I'll talk about some of the types of assignments later on. Remember, like I said earlier, exams must be taken during the scheduled days and time. All right? If you have any problems, now let me tell you this, and I just want to buffer a little bit what I'm saying here is, look, I understand the situations we are going through in today's world with work, with siblings, with kids, with all kinds of situations. Hey, I understand as well as you do. So if you have any issues with scheduling or stuff, don't freak out, don't stress, just talk to me, okay? Just talk to me. We'll work something out. Okay, I earlier mentioned the 2 ways that we communicate preferably. I communicate with you through announcements in the Canvas interface, and you would preferably communicate with me via the inbox. But again, you can text me. Here's my text message and my email. You can email me. Okay, no problem with that. I'm just saying that I don't check those as often as the inbox messages, because the inbox messages, I get notifications. When you communicate with me, remember that there's only one inbox for all my classes. So when you communicate with me, please tell me what class you're in and what the issue is you're trying to inquire about. Okay, like it says here in that example. I already mentioned about the student hours. They'll begin second week of the semester. I'm still working out what the scale of those is going to be. Okay, everybody wants to know about grades, right? Yeah. Hey, it's just a reference point. I have to give you grades. I don't have a choice. If it were up to me, I would like to figure out a different way of evaluating your work, just so you have a sense of, how far you've gone and where you are at with respect to your goals. So we have exams, we have quizzes, we have lab reports, we have homework. There's a description of those in here. And again, please understand there are no makeups. Now you can turn things in late, add a deduction, but there's not going to be makeups. Now again, once more, if you have a problem, your internet went out, uh, you had a power outage, your aunt who you're taking care of needed extra help, anything like that, just talk to me, communicate with me as soon as possible. You are familiar, if you've had classes with me, about the way I grade. In other words, each category of assignments is worth a certain percent of your total grade. So I don't add up points. I take the points in each category, multiply them times the percent weight, and then I add up the percent weights to give me a subtotal out of 100%. All right, that's what we're going to calculate it. Okay, another thing I want to say is Long Beach City College is committed totally, completely, deeply to the success of students. So we have a lot of support services. I want you to look at this list here. I mentioned a few of them earlier on. I would like you to consider that if you have any special needs, we do have different ways of meeting those. If you need something in the way of, mental health, not feeling well, needing some extra help with, organizing your life, great counseling services in the school. And let me tell you this is a sensitive subject, but let me bring it up. If you are experiencing food insecurity or housing insecurity, please look at the link that I have on the page. Let me quickly come back. Go back to our Canvas page here. I don't know if I mentioned this, but when you look at here at the modules, remember that? This is how we organize the course. If you go all the way to the bottom, I have a section here called the community at LBCC. And these are different kinds of resources in the community and also in the basic needs program of LBCC for students who are experiencing any hardship or any special needs. Okay, so guys, don't be shy, don't be embarrassed. This is all for you. The goal here is to help you succeed. Okay, so take advantage of those resources that are offered at the school. There's other ones here. You can check through those. All right. Now, one of the things here is conduct. This is a different environment because unlike, for example, a physical, face-to-face lab where you're interacting with people or you're, getting in the way of people and stuff like that, in a, online type of environment, there's a lot of nonverbal aspects that are not communicated properly. So because of that, it's important that when we post things on discussion forums, when we send messages, when we participate in these things online, that we follow some rules of behavior. This is called netiquette. And I have a link in here for you to look at. Okay. Now, I'm just going to tell you two things. Number one, language. Very important. I have a very low tolerance for inappropriate language. I know our society is very, very, blasé about, vulgarity and profanity. But like I always say, in Dr. DA's house, swearing or any language that others may find offensive are not allowed. Okay? You've been warned. The other one is academic integrity. I realize that when you are doing your work online, I'm not there to watch it. I'm not there to watch you take your quizzes. I assume that you have your open book. I mean, I would. When you are doing your lab reports, again, I'm not monitoring if you're looking for answers somewhere else. That's really up to you. That's really on you. Just realize that if you do not do the work in a way that I'm telling you to do it, you are sabotaging your success. Yeah, you might get the good grade, but you are missing out on the learning, which is what you're here for. All right. And we'll talk more about that when it's time for exams, because online exams have their own little peculiarities, and I'll have to talk about those later on. All right. Okay. Last summer, was my first semester where everything was online like this. And I had students provide me with some suggestions to pass on to future generations. Yes, that's you. So some of the things that are in here about tips to success are, I got them from students' own comments. One of them is essentially do your assignments on time. Don't fall behind in your work, especially if you're taking more than 2 or 3 classes. It might be hard. So get into a habit, like it says here, to study every day. I'm going to help you with that, okay? I'm going to show you in a moment. I have what I call the suggested plan of studies, where I give you a suggested way of a day-to-day plan for what to do on each day, what assignment to work on, what lectures to videos to watch, all that kind of stuff. And you can read some of those again here. The other one is ask for help. All right, Dr. Diaz's house, there are no dumb questions. So whether you come to my office hour, or you use the school's tutoring services, or you guys make study groups, I mean, whatever it takes, just don't be shy, don't be embarrassed about asking questions. Sometimes I found that somebody asks a question and several other students had the same question, but were a little afraid to ask. So be bold, don't be shy, okay? It's very important in an online environment. You realize that you are on your own. You essentially define the time you're going to spend on different types of things. Excuse me. So, make sure that you are disciplined. My students, many of them mention things like some of the things that get in the way. Well, of course, many of my students live in fairly crowded living conditions, so they have interruptions from your little sister or your little brother or maybe your abuela or something like that. I don't know, whoever. You also have the temptation, of course, I'm sure right now, some of you might be experiencing it, to turn on the TV and watch the NBA game, or see what Netflix came up with this week. And my students are the ones that told me that these are the things that they wrestle with. So you are going to have to be disciplined, but also have to take care of yourself. Okay, don't try to cram 4 hours of study in a row. Just give yourself pauses. Go for 15-20 minutes, take a little break, make sure you're eating nutritious stuff, keep yourself in place. And another thing that I heard from my students is make sure you get a good night's sleep. It doesn't pay to stay up till 3 in the morning doing things and then your brain's all foggy the next day, right? So, okay, the last thing I want to talk about in the syllabus is here at the end, the exam dates. Notice that all of our exams are going to be on a Thursday at 5 p.m. And these are the dates. The study guides are going to be on your Canvas website, so you'll know exactly what you're responsible for. I may be able to provide you with some like practice exams. Although, of course, the practice exams I have are from the days when we used to do the class, in a classroom. So the questions are not going to be exactly what's on an online exam, but at least you'll get to know more or less how I roll, what kinds of questions I like to ask. All right. And the first, well, we'll talk about the exams later on. I don't want to take too much time on that right now. Right. Okay, guys. Let's I'm sorry guys, I've been talking for a while and I really need a break right now, so let's take another 5-minute break and go ahead and grab yourselves your ramen or your protein bar or your shake or whatever, and we'll come back in about 5 minutes and we'll hopefully wrap it up by 6:30. If you have any questions, please put them on the chat box, and when we come back from the break I will address them. Okay, cool. All right, we'll see you in about 5 minutes.